Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raking Profit, and in today's video, I'm going to be answering a viewer question from one of my students in our Reselling Freedom community, and I want to give a big shout out to Shane, because Shane's taken a lot of action, but he's going through some challenges. He's making some mistakes. I think this is going to be a really good video for folks who are, maybe you're on the newer side, or maybe you've been hit with like an IP complaint or a counterfeit, or maybe you've gotten in trouble for like selling certain products. I want to make a video for you because Shane just put out a post that essentially said, I got 3 IP complaints in 30 days. My Amazon health went from 263 to 198. Now, by the way, 198 is not too bad. You're close to that 200 mark, so you're still okay. Shane says 1 was for a DVD that I bought for an eBay to Amazon flip, and 2 were for board games. Same company I bought thrifting. Are there any successful letters or templates to ask the company to remove the complaint? I don't have any templates, but simply you could reach out to them and apologize and see if they'll remove it. A lot of times they won't, Shane, but essentially, I mean, once you get an IP complaint, and if you're thrifting or doing E2A or Facebook Marketplace or selling stuff around your house, you're pretty much screwed other than reaching out, apologizing, say it was an honest mistake, and, sometimes they will take it down. Shane also went on to say, I've stocked up FBA-wise in preparation for fourth quarter, but now I'm extremely gun-shy to do any more scouting as the board games did not show up on IP Alert. All right, Shane, so I want to mention a few things, okay? Number 1, IP Alert. It's great. I use IP Alert. I love it. It's a fantastic software. But you have to understand, IP Alert isn't perfect. IP Alert is just essentially a database that's crowdsourced of brands that you want to stay away from, okay? So maybe someone gets an IP complaint, they submit it to, the guys over at IP complaint, or IP Alert comes up, but there's millions and millions of products, Shane. Like, you can't rely 100% on IP Alert. IP Alert's like, it's nice. It's like having, somebody watching your back, but, you can't just have someone watching your back. You got to be looking to the sides and looking forward and looking down and looking up. So selling on Amazon, you can't just have someone watching your back. Okay, IP Alert's fantastic. If you're selling on Amazon, I recommend everybody should use IP Alert, but there's a lot of mistakes that could happen by relying on it. So Shane, I'm going to show you what you need to do and teach you exactly what you need to do, okay? Number 1, you need to make sure before you sell a brand, or even, it doesn't even matter if you've sold the brand before. Whenever you sell an ASIN, when you're going to list the item, you want to open up Keepa, okay? Get the $20 a month plan. It's necessary. I know some people say you don't need it, but I think 90% plus people would say Keepa is one of those softwares that are 100% necessary. And the reason is, on Keepa, what you want to do is go to the new sellers, okay? Or the used sellers. Say you're selling new, you want to look at the new offer count. For used, you could still get IP complaints. Some people think, oh, you could only get IP complaints new, like only sell used. It's not true. You can get IP complaints for used items as well, and counterfeits. It's, I would say more risky doing new, but it's still pretty similar. So I wouldn't discriminate against the condition, but you got to check the number of users, and or the number of offers, right? So if you're selling new, look at the new offers. Are there, like, you could go on Keepa and look at the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 months, 3 months, and look to see how many people are selling it. 5, 6, 7, 8. But I like to deal with products where there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 offers on the listing, okay, for the condition. And what you want to avoid are any drops. So, if you look at my hand, let's just pretend this is 5 people selling it, 6, 5, 8, 9, 8. It's like all within a range. If all of a sudden you see the number of offers drop from 9 to 1, or from 15 to 3, there's a couple things that could be happening, but the big thing you got to be worried about, Shane, are IP complaints. This is what will happen. The brands or the people that work for the brands, they'll go in and they'll just do a sweep and wipe everybody off of the listing, okay? So don't rely 100% on IP Alert. Have it, they're watching your back, but you got to watch your own back too. You got to be looking around. Get Keepa, use Keepa. Every single freaking time you have to look at the number of offers. If there's only 1 or 2 offers on the listing, that should raise the red flags. And you should go back into the Keepa buy box statistics and see who's been winning the buy box. What you want to look for is to see if the brand's on the listing, okay? And sometimes the brand doesn't use their name. I would say 95% of the time, if it's, a specific brand, their name is going to match their seller name. If there's only 1 or 2 users, click into the sellers who are selling it and see what else are they selling. If they're selling a bunch of different random brands and it's probably not the brand, but if it's a name and then you click into it and they're selling everything from within that brand and they have a lot of reviews, it's probably the brand. Stay away from the listing. So number one, check the offer count. You don't want to see sharp declines. It could mean that the brand or that ASIN's been restricted, or sometimes, like, I don't know, there's other things that could happen with the listing, but for the most part, you want to be aware of staying away from those big drops. You want to have more than just 1 or 2 people on the listing. That builds confidence. You want to look back over a year, 2 years, 3 years. Now, does it mean you're never going to get slapped with an IP complaint because the past looked pretty? No. Sometimes it could bite you in the butt because they decide to kick everybody off. But this game of thrifting and E2A and not having invoices is about reducing the risk, right? And I know a lot of us, we want to live our life with no risk, but we all go out when we drive on the road every single day. There's a risk that something could happen. We jump on planes, we go outside. I mean, things could go wrong. It's the same in business. We can't live in a bubble our whole life. So, you know, before I go down a whole rabbit hole, you got to look out for yourself, Shane. And for everyone watching this video, check the number of sellers, the offers, see if the brand is on the listing. If IP alert pops up, then that could be, you know, a reason you might not want to mess with that item, but that's pretty much it. I could probably, with pretty strong certainty, say that the IP complaints you got, if you got 3 in 30 days, you probably failed to check these things out. The brand was probably on it. There probably wasn't a lot of sellers on the listing. There's a chance, of course, you got hit with 3 random sweeps, but, you know, I've sold over, just in the last 2 years, I mean, almost 13,000 in a year. And the year before that, I mean, I think I'm like over almost 18,000 products in 2 years I flipped without invoices. And I've had a couple mistakes, and I think there's been maybe like 3 in total. And 2 of them, well, they were all my fault. One of them was a counterfeit claim. It was on a book. It wasn't even an E2A flip. It was just a book. I messed up. That was on me. But the 2 IP complaints I had gotten with DVDs, one of them I ignored the sharp decline in the number of sellers. And what do you know? They came back with another sweep. And another one, I ignored that the brand was on the listing like a Dumbo. You know, these are learning lessons. I'm not saying this to talk down to you, to beat you up, but we have to take responsibility for doing our own research instead of just relying on IP alert or other softwares out there to tell us, like SellerAmp and different things. Don't listen to these softwares. They got your back. It's one thing to consider, right? It's like if you're dating, you're going out with a guy or a girl and you're dating them, like they're pretty. You don't, oh, they're pretty, everything's fine. I'm gonna marry you. Like let's look at the personality. Let's look at the family. Do we have hobbies? You gotta watch out for yourself. So no one's gonna care about your business as much as you. So hopefully that helps. Reach out to the brands, apologize, do everything you possibly can, follow up. If not, what you're going to want to do is go in and acknowledge those IP complaints and get them removed. And, I've helped a lot of people to do that. It's easy. Just go in to the IP complaint, and if they give you the option to appeal, just appeal it and then check off acknowledge, and it'll get removed off of your account. Probably still hangs out on the back end of your account. You don't want to do this all the time, but I mean, it is what it is. If you're going to sell without invoices, these are the risks, and you better darn believe if you don't watch your back, then you're going to get bit. So watch your back. Hopefully this helps. Much love. Appreciate you being a part of Reselling Freedom. And hopefully you don't take the tough love the wrong way, because I really appreciate you, Shane. All right, guys, if you have any more questions, feel free to drop a comment down below. And that being said, see you in the next one.